Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap Podcast is brought to you by DirtTrackDigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon and welcome to episode number 158 of the 31st Lap Podcast. I'm Chris Marquardt. Joining me on the Skype line is the one and only Mike Mallett. Thanks for tuning in on the Dirt Track Digest Skype line, Mike.
I'm here.
You always look so excited. Can't get over it. Is it just me or has it been a long week or what?
It's been a long week. I can't really say much. I had yesterday off. Well, I took yesterday off. So I got home a little late and was a little exhausted in the morning.
Yeah.
So I decided to nap.
A busy Tuesday night led to a busy and exhausted Wednesday, huh?
Yeah. Yep. So, you know how that goes. I got home. And they did a fairly good job. I went to Big Diamond on Tuesday night. You know, they did a fairly good job of moving things along. You know, weather was a factor. So
Right.
as a result, you know, Brett Dale and the crew, they pushed, and they got everything in. So I can't fault them. They did a pretty good job.
Second ever anthracite assault event. Mike was down there taking in under Brett Dale Motorsports direction at Big Diamond. We've got Gary Tomkins coming up at the bottom of the hour to talk about his 50th career modified win over at Canandaigua Motorsports Park. It was a good weekend for racing. Just about everything got in the books. I don't know of any cancellations off the top of my head. For everything from Ransomville clear past the other side of Fonda got their racing action in. It was a pretty good weekend for sure. Better one coming up this weekend, no doubt.
Finally. Well, tomorrow's going to be hot.
Oh, come on.
I don't get how we can go from 30 degrees 2 weeks ago to now it's 90.
Well, this is summer now. Enjoy these 2 days.
It's not even, we don't even have spring, man. Where did it go? What happened to spring?
I don't know.
It doesn't exist, I swear.
Couldn't tell you if I wanted to.
One day I had 2 feet of snow in my yard. Next day it's 80. I mean, what happened? But,
It's all right. It'll work. Why not, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not a fan of 90 degrees, but I'll deal with it.
It's got to be better than 2 feet of snow in your yard. Come on, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean,
I'll
you're
give
at
you
least racing at 90 degrees.
that. Yeah, I don't think the booth I'm going to be in, though, on Saturday is going to have air conditioning, so that could be a problem.
Where are you going Saturday?
Probably back to Evans Mills.
Evans
I
Mills.
talked last week. They were
Number
having trouble
2.
finding an announcer, so I ended up helping out on Saturday. And then, they asked me if I want to come back again this week. I said, nah, you know what? Why not?
Did you have a good time up there?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a little less stressful than a normal routine. If that makes any sense.
Did you take it cavalier or did you take it serious?
No, the Cavalier. The Cavalier doesn't even exist anymore.
No. I said, did you take it cavalier? Did you go in there? Were you heckling fans and telling drivers to go faster when they were about to go a lap down, or did you?
No. I heckle fans, but I heckle fans anyways. So that's part of the announcing gig. You know what I mean? They had the Girl Scouts there, and one guy walked back up with 3 boxes of Thin Mints and 4 Coors Lights. I'm like, now that's dinner. So, it was fun. It's a different atmosphere. It's a little different than what I'm used to, but it was, I've never, other than the ESS races on asphalt, it's the only thing I've ever announced pavement racing. So I had a chance to announce some pavement racing, and it went fine. It was good. So back I go this week, and then next week I'm at Sealands Grove, I think, and then the week after that it's Memorial Day weekend, I believe, in Fonda Speedway and Utica Rome for the ESS, and we're off and running.
That's the part that gets me about what you were just describing with how did we go from 30 degrees to 90 degrees. We are now wide open. Racing season, there is no stopping at this point. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it definitely gets rolling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. This is really the first. There's been a midweek show already last week or 2 weeks ago. Deo's Gobbler makeup. So now we're Big Diamond midweek. And for those looking, if you go to DirtTrackDigest.com, we've put I added a super schedule to the front page. So now if you go there, we finished that up a few weeks ago. I just haven't put it up. But all the modified races in the Northeast are on there. So this week you've got the usual routine. Then let's see, take a look here. No midweek shows next week. That I have, but then I think it's a couple of weeks. Yeah, and the 19th, which is a Tuesday. You've got Accord Speedway. And on Wednesday, you got Canandaigua Super Series on the 20th. So definitely some midweek stuff coming up.
Yep. That's
which is exciting. Hard to believe we're into that part of the season already. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm trying to figure out. There's some. My mom was calling me actually. So I was trying to find out what was going on. You never know. You never really know what might be lurking out there.
No, that is true.
There we go. Got to know back to her so we can get that straightened out. I was happy to see Canandaigua with their full program got in. Gary Tomkins coming away with his 50th career modified win. We'll be getting into that with Gary a little bit later on. Where else did you get to this weekend? Obviously, I'm guessing you went to Utica. Had a pretty good show
Sunday,
out there.
Yeah, we had our. It was interesting to say the least. Obviously, I don't know what you've seen or read, but there was some fireworks on Saturday or Sunday night. If you want to queue up the video, since you're over there, I probably could have gave you this about 5 minutes ago before we went on the air, but. If you go to the front page of Dirt Track Digest, John Douglas has a highlight video. If you go about to the 6 minute mark, you can show the fans at home what happened, and then we can kind of talk about it.
Give me 1 second here, and let me cue that up. And we got to get into that too. The public hearing didn't do a whole lot, I guess, to remedy the situation. I'm looking for the highlight reel. Where'd that go?
Yeah, it's left side, about 3/4 of the way down.
Left side. Wild Night.
Yeah, and we go about 6 minutes in.
There's John Douglas' story.
On the left side, there's a YouTube video link there. Find it yet or no?
No, I have no idea what I'm looking for.
On
I don't
the front
see
page
it.
of
There
Dirt
it is.
Track
I got it.
Digest.
Okay, I got it.
I told you, the left side. It's not that hard to find.
Sometimes it is. Let me get. Oh my goodness, this is not cooperating at all. This is embedded and it's only going to full screen. Come on.
Just look at the link in there, or just right click on it, and then. Does that tell you everything, man?
Well, this was sort of thrown on me as soon as you said it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't quit one. I don't want an excuse. Okay.
All right, let's get this. Do that. Here we go. We're getting closer. You said about the 6 minute mark?
Yeah, go to the 6 minute mark, and then you'll see what transpired on Sunday at Utica Rome, and then we can. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm pulling it down now.
It's got sound.
Yeah, I see that. So that's Mike Mahaney up on the top, coming off of turn 2, side by side with Larry White, isn't it?
Well, there's a battle.
Look at Matt Shepard.
Between Larry and Stewie, and a battle between Matt Shepard and Mike Mahaney. Keep watching. Wait till Stewie gets in contact with Larry, and then Larry goes off, Stewie goes off the top. I'd commentate for you, but I can't see it.
Right, I understand. Stu, slow on the front stretch.
Did you see the contact or no? Did you miss that part?
Well, now I see he's right wheel to wheel with Larry going into turn 1.
Okay, now watch as they come off of turn 2. Or go into turn 3.
Well, that would do it. There goes Stu Friesen.
Yeah.
Spinning the number 99, which is going to open the door for Matt Shepard to move up into the second spot. You see him now working the inside, draws wheel to wheel with Mike Mahaney. Mahaney pulls on him going into the third turn. Mahaney continued to hold that top spot. He looked real good on the top all night long. Matt Shepard trying to work the middle. It's not going to pay dividends for him. Mahaney comes across the stripe to take the white, and he stays right up on that top side.
So it was a good night. Did you skip the fireworks part between Larry and Stu? Or did you see that part?
No, we saw it. Actually, it's still playing. I just finished. We're gonna see Mike Mahaney take the checkers here. And boy, Matt got a good run on him coming into the middle of turn 3. It's not gonna work out though.
Yep.
Mahaney pulls away and takes the win. That's all we got to see there. So, Mike Mahaney coming away with the win at Utica Speedway, but the fireworks, as you alluded to. Stu Freese and Larry White getting pretty heated under the yellow flag.
Yeah, Stewie was sent to the pits for that, and then Larry had to go pit side, ended up with some broken parts in the rear end. Needless to say, they'll have a meeting this week and chat.
I would bet.
From my understanding, Stewart is facing a penalty. I'm not 100% if that's been released as of yet or not, so I don't know what that would be until until that comes out, or I'm sure they'll talk about it on Sunday.
Sure.
But
what was
that was exciting.
What was the collective opinions of that out there? Did everybody?
The ultimate issue, I believe, was that there was the contact between the two, and then we didn't put Larry back. The argument was, from our perspective in the tower, everybody that saw it, everybody that watched the replay, everyone pretty much agreed that, Friesen, unfortunately, he wasn't far enough alongside where Larry knew he was still there going into turn 3. That was our assessment based on, again, what you see on the video.
Right.
You know what I mean? So as a result, Larry didn't get put back, and when that didn't occur, that's when the on-track action heated up.
Sure.
So, it makes for an exciting night, but I feel bad, for both of them. At the end of the day, there's a great race going there, and then it ends like that,
Right. How about Danny Johnson sweeping the Twin 20s up or Twin Features up at Cornwall?
Yeah, he had an interesting week. He won on Saturday at Fulton, which I heard was an absolute unbelievable race.
Yeah, that was a killer feature.
And then came back and swept the Twin 25s up there. So he had a pretty good weekend.
Real good weekend. He won by 0.3 of a second, but it was way closer to a couple laps prior to that when he was doing battle with there was 4 guys all knotted right together going for the win, and Danny Johnson ends up coming out on top with that. Did you go to Brewerton on Friday?
Yes, I did. Matt Shepard picked up the win over Jimmy Phelps, so that was good. Shepard started on the outside of the front row. Impressive drive in the heat race to come from the back.
Right.
Started tail, made it up into the redraw spots, and then got a redraw spot and took advantage of the front row starting spot. You can't start Matt Shepard on the front row at Brewerton and expect him not to win.
Right.
Jimmy Phelps gave it pretty much everything he had, just couldn't get there.
Yeah, he threw the farm at him, but couldn't
it
find a way
there.
past him.
Yeah, it wasn't there. So
interesting. So what do you think? We should get Gary on the line. See what he's up to.
Fine. We can talk to him about his 50th win. It's been a good week for 50th wins the last couple weeks. About 3 weeks ago, Bobby Varon got his 50th at Fonda. Now Gary gets his 50th at Canandaigua. And it'll be interesting to talk about the car that he was in. He wasn't in his traditional, 84 car. He was driving for the Vincent family. So very neat. They had a great run at Fulton in the Super Dirt Series. Got a 6th place. So this is even better for that.
Did Mahaney win someplace else on the weekend?
Yeah, Thunder Mountain. So he was a 2-time winner this weekend. Yep, he had a good weekend too. So it was impressive weekend for a few guys. Other guys, not so much.
Some guys struggled. Gary Tomkins put up win number 50 at Canandaigua Motorsports Park, a track that does not run sail panels, Mike.
As you know.
Gary, man, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. Congratulations on the win. How's that feel?
It felt good, especially the fact that about a month ago I wasn't even sure what my plans were as far as racing there this year, because at that point I hadn't gotten well, my car is together, but I don't have a motor at the present time, and just the motor I had is, trying to get that rebuilt, and just trying to find the money to get everything done, and it was just, one of them deals, and Ralph Vincent called me up and says, hey, my son's out for the year with a shoulder injury, had to have operated on, and would you be interested to drive my car? And went up there and made a deal to drive for him, and they were all worried, if the equipment was good. And I said, yeah, look, a race car is a race car. It looks like they had good stuff, and more, dyno sheets look decent, and come to find out, the thing was pretty good. It just we had some good luck and bad luck at Fulton. We ended up sixth there, and then just showed up at Canandaigua, doing number one in the heat, and car was great in heat and great in the features. So, by no means was it easy, but just one of the deals where everything fell into place. So.
How does that inspection process go for a driver when you're asked to come and drive equipment? I mean, you said a race car is a race car, but we know that that's not always the case, and that's not a that's not judgment being passed.
Not that I know the Vincents, all that well before we hooked up, but I knew him. I knew Ralph had driven for a while. I know Rich had driven for a while, and he's had success. And so you got to have decent stuff if you're gonna run good. And I talked to Randy Williamson, about the car, and he said, yeah, it was a good car, and all that stuff over. And, I sat in the car, and we made a few small changes just to, the seat was fine. Really, the seatbelts just had to be adjusted a little bit, and really didn't have to do a whole lot else. But just looking at the equipment on it, I mean, it's a basic Bicknell car, it's got good stuff on it. And, of course, the only question is the motor. And then they showed me the dyno sheets, and they were a little afraid because the numbers might not be what some dyno sheets usually say. But like I told them, I said, well, the real dyno is going to be the racetrack, and so far, I think we've showed that's a pretty good motor in that car. So now it's just a case of making sure the car stays together. We've got the performance, just to make sure it stays together, and then do whatever we need to do to make sure it's on any given night that it's fast. So it's just one of those deals. You just got to look everything over, and you sort of talk about what the car is and how old it is and how many laps it's been on and stuff like that, or whether it's perfect, and that thing's really in good shape. So yeah, just one of them deals where everything's worked out so far.
50 wins at Canandaigua, that's a milestone, man.
Yeah, it is. It's back when I started racing, I never even thought about winning one, and here we are winning 50. So it's a lot of the fact that I've been able through the years to get rides with quality teams and have the ability to run up front and challenge for wins, and of course I've been doing this for a while too, but the fact that I've been fortunate to do that, that's really definitely the main reason it's happened, so there's a lot of people to thank for that.
You said you've been doing this for a while. I mean, does getting win number 50 put a career into perspective for you when you look back at the amount of time that you spent at Canandaigua?
Yes and no, because I always look at it as, I got 50 wins, but boy, I'm looking for 51. I really wish I'd be, I was 75 or 80 wins right now. But that's just the way things have gone for me. So
right.
I'm fortunate to that. I'm thankful for getting 50. Like I said, it's a pretty cool deal. It's something you can always tell everybody. Hey, we got 50 wins at Canandaigua. I have no idea. I know there's a bunch of guys that are ahead of me, but there's a bunch of good guys behind me too. So, it's just, I guess, one of them deals. It's a number that, I guess is sort of a kind of a milestone, but hopefully it's not the last one. Hopefully we can work on getting 51 this weekend.
For sure. Now, in terms of the Vincent ride, how much time are you guys going to be spending together? Is this Canandaigua only, or are you guys going to run out a little bit more?
They want to do, local series races.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They're a team like my team is in a way, probably a little better equipped than mine. They don't really have a whole lot. They've got the equipment. It's the money to run it. That's the deal. Those quarter panels are bare for a reason, because there's nobody, there's no big sponsors, helping us out. So
sure.
That's the main deal right now. Just try not to run over our budget, and just so we can make sure that we can remain competitive and make sure we got the fuel and the tires and everything else we need to run up front at Canandaigua, and hopefully, we can run some of these other races around here and pick off some good finishes and help to haul it along. But until we get a name on the side of that quarter panel, chances are we're not going to do a whole lot of traveling as it is.
But does that free up your own equipment to go travel to some of the more extensive races?
That's the plan. But unfortunately, it's still, my car is pretty much ready to go, except for a motor. It's okay. I really love to find a sponsor where I can buy my own. Because I lease a motor from Dave Roush. I really love to be able to afford to buy my own, and there's actually a couple out there that are pretty good pieces at pretty reasonable prices, but still it's come to a deal where we're just trying to find sponsorship to help us out to do that. If we can get a motor, we could probably, I'm not saying we could run the whole series. I mean, that's the plan, but and I'm hoping I can, but at least get a start on it and then see where it goes from there.
If you don't run that whole tour, what are you going to do with all that extra vacation time?
Who knows? I'm sure the wife will have plans for that. So. But I don't know. We'll see. And, I haven't given them hope yet. I really enjoy running the series. It's a lot of fun going to these strange tracks and the tracks you don't usually run and competing against guys that probably are the best in the business and seeing how you stack up against them. But we'll see. Hopefully we can figure something out and somebody can come along and help us and get on the tour.
What, Gary, all the stuff going on right now with the Moody Mile in Syracuse, what's your thoughts on what's happening?
Well, to me, being it's a political deal, I think there's a lot of stuff, and how corrupt the state is. I think there's a lot of stuff been done that nobody really knows about to make this happen, because I think somebody wants it to be their legacy. Say, hey, I did this. And as much as we racers fight for it, is it really going to matter in the end? It's I'm hoping it will. I mean, I really love going there. It's there's a lot of people who are down on that place, but there's no place like Super Dirt Week. And then you can put that race at any other track in the country. It's not going to be the same. It's just a special place, a lot of memories for me. From the time I was a little kid going there and watching the cars to, getting the race there. I really do hope they find a way to save the track. I think there can be, concessions. I know it's sort of like the horse people against the racing people, but, the people that are trying to do this also want to do a lot of other stuff too. Like an RV park, which I don't know why they need an RV park at a state fair. It's beyond me, but in a park and stuff like that, where there's a park 6 miles down the road. Well, that's hopefully last night's meeting and the pressure from the racers hopefully will show them that the track can be viable. I think there needs to be more done there as far as events, but that shouldn't be. The state should hire a promoter. I mean, that's what a lot of venues do, and then let the person come up with ideas to put Sandy in the seat in the grandstands. And if they do that, hopefully the track can be saved and that can be done.
Well, I think some of that was a self-inflicted wound, because at one point we were racing there 3 times a year, and now we're just racing there for the week.
Yeah.
Part
of that is, back when Glenn was promoting, he did the July 4th deal. The state did the Labor Day deal, and then they decided that Demolition Derby could put more fannies in the seat than racing. And, while that may be true, I mean, that takes a race away. Now, that being said, I wouldn't be against going back there again, but, I don't see why they couldn't have the monster trucks there. They surely could build a motocross track on the front stretch and, have motocross there. And, there could be all kinds of sporting events held there, but don't necessarily mean to use the whole track, just use the front stretch if nothing else. So, but it needs somebody that's got, willing to go about and put the money up to do it, but hopefully that's going to come up. I mean, that's my hope. I mean, I really don't want it to be the last race this year. I mean, I haven't won yet, so I really want to win there someday. So, but hopefully something will happen. But I'm a realist, and I just don't see how it's going. I just think their mind's made up what's going to happen, and unfortunately, the track is not going to be part of that.
Does that change your focus now when you start thinking about Syracuse, about what you're going to do when Syracuse rolls around, if it could possibly be the last one?
It very, very well. Because the last couple of years we've gone there with just the all intent, just getting, we've been guaranteed, so that's not been the issue. But the issue is just trying to finish the race, and I've had terrible luck finishing in that race, one race or another. But hopefully, maybe try to do a little more to where we might even be competitive, but still, got to finish the race. But I mean, it's still a ways away. You have to figure out what's going on, that far ahead, and see, if we can partner up with somebody, maybe do something and go up there and race the whole thing. And who knows, maybe if it's going to be the last one, even try to get a ride in a small block or something, just to get on that track as much as I can. But I know one thing, if it is definitely going to be the last one, it's going to be a heck of a party from what people have been telling me. So
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a heck of a party, and there's gonna be a ton of race cars.
Yeah, and I don't see why there wouldn't be. It's gonna be sad too, because you know what, you go there for that week and you just look at the life at that place, that fairground. I mean, that fairground is packed. The whole thing is packed, from one end to the other, and it's unfortunate they want to do away with that. But if it's only for 1 week and then sits there, 51 weeks the rest of the year, then, I could see why they want to do something different. But like I said, if they could get somebody in there that could actually promote and come up with events for the place, I don't see why they couldn't survive and actually, thrive. And then, I don't really know why you could. There's enough room at that place to do, a lot of the other stuff they want to do. Why they have to tear that grandstand and track out is beyond me. But like I said, I'm not a politician, and I think that's more or less what that deal is about, is politics.
Yeah, I mean, last night, I was fortunate I got to go to the meeting. We were going to get into this after we talked to you, but it seemed to be, the consensus, the people that got the most applause when it came to the public comments was those that said, let's just do both. There's room there to build the horse facilities and all that all those people want, but just don't leave the racetrack in the grand.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, there's more than enough room in that place. I mean, even if you did away with some of the parking by the fairgrounds, back where the ghetto used to be and stuff like that, there's more than enough area around that area to make more parking lots, so, just run shuttle buses or whatever,
Right.
I don't see why they couldn't do that at all. I mean, for the life of me, I don't see why, they just need to use a little more vision than what they've got. They shouldn't try to just replace one with the other. They should make it better for both deals, because it's not costing them nothing, because it's the state's land, so they got it there. Why not just use more of it instead of just trying to pull a little part of it to redo it? And that's been baffling me since I've seen the plan originally.
Yeah. Was there open reception by the board when individuals were suggesting
the weird
use
part
both?
Was, last night, it wasn't like there was a board there. It was like you had a couple of horse people talk, and then you had a couple of racing people talk, and they sat up front, and then all the bigwigs like Troy Waffner and the folks that were from the fair board and the local representatives all just kind of stood in the back listening to the comments and stuff. So that was what was weird for me, just the way they organized it. But
right.
Again, most people there, they have no problem with one or the other. I don't think the horse people have a problem with the racing people.
Right.
Racing people don't have a problem with the horse people. They just want to, they just want to see everybody have the opportunity to enjoy the facility.
Yep.
And that's the consensus. I mean, if they're smart, they're spending all these millions of dollars, trying to come up with a concept and a design, and they can't come up with something that works for everybody. I mean, that's what I don't understand. So, but we'll see what happens. Obviously we still got time. I mean, they said they won't have a plan in place until, next few, they're meeting with everyone now, and then they'll have a plan in place here in a couple months, I guess, of what they're actually going to do. So we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is, it's not going to happen. I could see them where they would tear stuff down, but before they start building, I'm sure they got a lot more plans and stuff like that to do, get that far. So, but it's unfortunate they want to try to get rid of that track, really. I don't know.
It's one of the last miles. I mean, there's not many mile tracks left.
No.
And one of the other arguments that people made, well, you guys only use it once a year. Well, you only run the Daytona 500 once a year. You only run the Indy 500 once a year. Kentucky Derby's only once a year. That's why it's once a year, because it's special.
Yep.
That was the big arguments made last night. But, getting back to this weekend, Gary, a little bit different now. Canandaigua, you're going to have to start. Handicapping is going to probably put you back a little bit.
Well, I talked to Jeremy after the races last week. I said, so now I'm going to start, last. He goes, I don't know what I'm doing Saturday night yet. So we'll see. That's one thing I told the guys. I said, I haven't had to pass a race car yet there. We started on pole in the heat, started on pole in the feature. Now, of course, we lapped some cars, but that's different. I mean, they're cars that are struggling. They're not the guys that are running, within tenths of you. They're more than that, slower than you. So should be interesting. The track will probably be better because we had two classes of sprint cars. We had the modified, we had sportsmen, and we had street stock. So that racetrack took a beating. I mean, it was still, you could still pass on it, but it wasn't like a regular Saturday night. So hopefully Jeremy will bring it back to life a little bit and give us a little more bite. I know when I was lapping traffic, in 3 and 4, I could go around the top and get around guys, but 1 and 2, really, the bottom was the place to be. So, I'm sure that he's going to work on making it so it's better down at that end of the track too, and we'll see. It's one of those big question marks you got every week. Just where you're going to start, and with that place there, it's usually whoever gets to the front first. Which makes it fun because you really got to be up on the wheel right from the get-go to get to the front. So it should be interesting, though.
I don't know what you're doing Sunday, but Utica Rome's got twin 20s that pay $2,000 to win each.
Believe me, I would love to race there, but that's not up to me. And like I said, the team I drive for right at the moment, we're just trying to make sure that we're not overstepping our boundaries as far as budget. And because the more you race, the more you wear stuff out, and eventually you got to start replacing it and stuff like that and repairing it. So, for me right now, if we could just stay east of the Canandaigua and maybe run a couple of series races and stuff like that, that'd be good. But I would love to run. Watching the video from there last week, watching them guys, it really reminds me a lot of Canandaigua because you got a groove around the bottom, a groove around the top, and guys in between, and it's definitely exciting. But like I said, I got to find somebody with the money to be able to do it right now. So
yeah. Now, did you think it would be this tough? You've had some really good rides, and you've won some, championships and things like that. Is it frustrating that it's tough to find rides and find money right now?
It is a little bit, but I've known for a while. I mean, even when I drove for the Honey Auto Parts team, I knew how fortunate I was, and I drove for them for 14 years. I knew that at that point, rides were starting to dry up a little bit, especially in central New York. It just seems like there's not the money around here that there is, downstate and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So it's been tough to find help. We were fortunate when we started our own deal. We got Pizza Logs on board. That was a big help. And then we had Fox's Auto here. That's helped us out a little bit, and a couple other people. But still, it's not the big sponsorship like a lot of these guys got. So, just keep trying and hoping and seeing what we come up with, and hopefully, hopefully something will come up and we can do some racing. But I know it's tough. I mean, you look at like a guy like Alan Johnson, how he struggles. There's a lot of reasons why, but in the end of the day, the guy's a heck of a race car driver, So it's Steve Payne. I mean, he's still got his stuff, but really, I know he doesn't have the budget he used to have, So it's like the big owners and the big sponsors aren't what they used to be, especially around in this area. So it's just you just got to try and hopefully come up with something and put something together and go from there.
You were talking about budget. I mean, I know it doesn't do huge swings for the yearly budget, but how important is it to win this early in the season? I mean, it sort of gives you a little bit of a
definitely
cushion.
Helps. And it helps for a lot of reasons. Definitely budget-wise it helps, but confidence, and get your name out there first thing in the year, and hopefully, we keep our name out there, and maybe somebody will come on board and want to help us, And I look at it as it can't hurt. I mean, to start out the year, right up front, and confidence-wise for me, I think it's pretty big, just because I know that I can do it, me personally, and I know the car can do it. So, and that helps the crew, so they know it can be done. We just got to make sure that, we check everything over and make sure everything's, good to go every week, and we know we can be competitive. So, yeah, definitely a big help.
Well, very cool, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you around the tracks. We don't want to keep you too long, and we, as always, Gary, it's always good to chat with you and have you on the 31st Lab. And again, we appreciate your time.
All right, thanks for having me, and see you guys at the racetrack.
All right, man, sounds good.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, take care. Thanks.
Gary Tomkins, winner of career feature number 50 at Canandaigua Motorsports Park in that Vincent car, which is a deal that came together late in the off season. But
yeah, I know
it was real late coming together.
You kind of brought it up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, they just got something together right before the Fulton Super Dirt Series race, and they struggled there. They had some carburetor issues early in the night, and then they got it figured out. And he ended up driving up from near the back to 6th.
Yeah,
got a little farther forward, but they had he lost a torsion rod. I don't know what they're called. Something in the rear end, and it wouldn't let the car turn like it needed to. I'm not a mechanic. I just read about it. So, that was the deal there. But hey, good start. I mean, passing race cars or not, winning at Canandaigua was still tough. You still got a lot of good cars trying to chase you down. So, want to talk a little bit more about the Syracuse deal? Or,
yeah, take me through that a little bit more. I mean, you were there. You said the atmosphere was it wasn't adversarial necessarily.
No, the tough part was
I like what you said about the fact that some people suggested why not do both.
Right, and that's really the attitude that I'd agree with. I mean, there's a lot of space there, and there's a lot of people that depend on both. The argument by the horse people is always build it and they will come. And as I said, the racing people argument is we already come. It's been shown that it's roughly a $10 million boon to the economy in the area, roughly. Okay, so I mean, you're just going to throw that away for what you think about horses. I understand that they can say, well, this area it brings in this area brings in this. Nationally it does this and this and this. Well, that's nationally. That's not in New York. I understand that there's a lot of horses here in New York, but you know what? There's a lot of race cars in New York too. There's a lot of other things that go on here in New York in terms of racing. If you want to count the number of people that do the horse show stuff versus the amount of people that do racing stuff, I'm pretty positive the race fans will come out on top. And one of the, the interesting points, if you read, John Douglas wrote a story for Dirt Track Digest today, and he put up some quotes from different people. Shane Andrews got up and spoke, and he gave a pretty good spiel. He talked about how, whenever you go anywhere, I think he's from Chittenango, but whenever you go anywhere, you tell people, racing people, but of any form, you say, oh yeah, I'm from Syracuse. They say, yeah, that's the home of the Moody Mile. I mean, that's what Syracuse is known for in our community. In
the racing world,
it's the mile, right in the racing world. And yeah, you got people that aren't racing people, but it is what we are nationally known. It's not like it's here in New York State. Nationally,
it was 2 years ago. The Super Dirt Week was voted event of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I go to the Knoxville Nationals and I talk to friends out there that are from out in Iowa and out there, and they say, we got to get to the mile. We got to come to Syracuse. That's one of the big events we haven't been able to come to. We have to come to the mile. Friends from Indiana, same thing. We got to go to Syracuse. That's just, we have to do it. It's on the list of places we're going to go. We're going to do it someday. It's a destination. It's an event, it brings in outside money. It brings in a lot of people that don't normally get together, and come to this area. And I mean, it's a shame, that they're doing this locally and they're only giving, you have your local race fans, but it's not counting the hundreds of, and thousands of people that come from Canada, that come from Pennsylvania, that come from all over, people in upstate New York and around the other parts of New York. They didn't have an opportunity to come to this and talk, so that's the kind of the crappy thing. Now there is, of course, an email if you'd like to do that. I think it was, hold on, let me look it up to be sure what the email address was. If you want to comment, just because simply, I mean, again, if you have the opportunity to comment, send an email and make sure you do comment. It's comment at agriculture.newyork.gov. Okay, so make sure you send your comments if you're a race fan. Let them know what you think, and it's no shame in saying, can't we have both?
Let's. I want to make sure I got that right. That was comment
at agriculture.ny.gov.
.ny.gov.
And there's nothing wrong with having both. Everybody's happy. Racing people stay happy. We still have our event. And horse people are happy because they have their, whatever they need. I don't even know what it is they need. They want show arenas and they want stables and all this other stuff. Okay, we'll give it to them.
Comment at agriculture.newyork.gov, ny.gov.
Yeah.
That's on the screen right now. Share your Save the Moody Mile comments. Get right on there. And we'll leave that up there for a little bit so everybody can get that written down. You can also find the contact email on the Save the Moody Mile Facebook page, I believe, which is Brian Pokorny's page. It's sort of generating the grassroots movement. A lot of signatures have been collected and a lot of information been shared. Comment at agriculture.ny.gov. Let everybody know what your thoughts are on saving the Moody Mile.
Yeah, and Super Dirt Week or Dirt Car Racing sent out a release today or this afternoon. And I'll just read what Brian Carter had to say. He's the CEO of Dirt Car. Between our meeting in the afternoon with the consultants retained by the state and then the public hearing last night, we were very optimistic that there's room for horses and horsepower at the New York State Fairgrounds, Carter said. We want to thank Brian Pokorny for all of his efforts to organize fans and everybody who attended the hearing last night for letting state and fair officials understand the significance of Napa Super Dirt Week at the fairgrounds. Super Dirt Week will continue, and we hope it continues in Syracuse, which, again, we all care. That's what we all want,
Right.
Because, again, you can take
room for horses and horsepower. I like how we worded that.
Yeah. I wish Shane Andrews had used his when he was speaking. He didn't use it, but 800 horses without all the mess, that would have been freaking hilarious, but he didn't use it. I was disappointed.
That's funny. Can you imagine? That would have been funny.
Oh, yeah, it would have been hilarious, but he didn't use that. But, again, it was nice to see and hear people speak and everything else. And, again, as I said, I think the crowd was about 50-50 split between the two groups. I was hoping there'd be more racing people. I think the problem is right now racing people are kind of getting apathetic. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but they've kind of been resigned to the fact that it's over, it's done, and this is it.
Right.
And I can understand that attitude and that feeling because I felt like that. But the only way to change things is to make it, to keep fighting for it,
Right.
This isn't Walmart buying it or this isn't something like that. And this isn't something that doesn't make money, and then it doesn't help the state. This is a major revenue stream for the state, and the local businesses and all the people around it. So it's not like it's a racetrack in the middle of town that's not making any money. That's basically, causing problems. It's a racetrack at the fairgrounds that generates a lot of revenue for our area. So,
in the span of 6 days.
Right. And it's, it's a short event but it's a major event. When you look at the major money makers at the fairgrounds, our little deal is in the top 5 of that.
And look at the tours that has attracted. USAC, in the past World of Outlaws, and all
everybody's raced there. People mentioned, AJ Foyt, Mario Andretti, they've all raced on the mile. There's some historic significance. I guess to us that's a big deal. I don't know if if you're a non-racing person, I guess they don't care. But for us, racing people, that's a big deal. That's historically significant. It's been a racetrack since 1903, I believe it was.
Right.
And it was originally built for horses. Now it's kind of ironic that they're trying to tear it down for horses, but so
the weird thing about some of their arguments that I get is exactly what Gary was alluding to a few minutes ago. Is they talked about how, we talked about how Daytona is only once a year and Indianapolis is only once a year and the Kentucky Derby is only once a year, but the Kentucky Derby Churchill Downs is used fairly regularly. Daytona is used fairly regularly. There's two races there on top of the sports car races and the motorcycles. And Indianapolis, they at least welcome the NASCAR series back there on top of some of the other stuff that goes on, much like Watkins Glen, who has different festivals and stuff like that. And again, it comes back to a promoter who's there willing to do something with it, to bring in attractions, to make it something. Yes, we can say that, well, it only matters to you race guys about 1 week through the course of a 52-week year. Well, there's no reason that venue has to stay idle outside of the fair and the race.
And what was the issue? I mean, the fair race, I'm pretty sure they had a pretty good gathering for that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, I understand the need for campgrounds. You know what? Take the infield and pave the whole thing and build your stupid campground.
Right.
All right, if you're that concerned, build a campground there. That's fine. Just don't, you got the space, because that's ultimately what the racetrack area will become, is a 1,000-spot campground.
Right. And I just want to clarify a point that I was making a minute ago. I understand that the fairgrounds are used for multiple purposes, but the track essentially stays dormant outside of the action at Super Dirt Week at this point. And we could see a lot more stuff going on there. I mean, they've got the Syracuse Nationals. They do a little bit of stuff there in the past. They've had figure 8 races. They've had demolition derbies. They've had minor monster truck expos. They've had truck and tractor pulls, and then they had the Night of Fire when they had the flamethrower cars there. Came down the front stretch and blew flames 60 feet in the air, and it was cool. But it wasn't something that was going to draw. It's not even fair to say it's not going to draw motorsports fans, but you know what I'm saying. It's not the same clientele. It's not the same spectacle.
You look at the event here. It was funny. Brian Picorni talked, and he kind of took a razzing for it, but I agree with him. He goes, I've never been to the state fair. He goes, I don't come to the fairgrounds for the fair. He goes, I come for 3 events. He goes, I come for motorsports in March. I come for Super Dirt Week, and then I'm back here again in November for Parts Peddler. That's it. And I understand that sentiment. I've been to the fair, I think, twice since I've lived here. I've lived here 12 years. Right. It just doesn't, it's not my thing. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not something that I want to do every day. And it's, that's what Syracuse does. It's not the fair. It's the racetrack. So I don't know. I hope somehow they come to a conclusion that they can help everybody, and find a way to appease everyone and work with everyone. Sadly, it's going to be a fight if that doesn't work. But I mean, not much we can do at that point. I mean, if their minds are made up, they're made up. I don't know if they are or aren't. We've seen the first rendering of what they want to do, and it did not include a racetrack. So
right.
Hopefully the public comment session changes their mind.
Well, it's good that people are suggesting both. I mean, that shows some openness on both sides to at least consider it.
Yeah.
Who knows what that means for the people that, as Gary said, that sort of seem almost like they want to leave their legacy. If that's their plan, if that's their end game is to leave that mark as such, then it sounds like maybe that's the plan that they're going to go with, regardless of what the end users want. So hopefully that's not a voice falling on deaf ears, because that would be great. I mean, yeah, you can't really run race cars there. The same weekend as the horses. I just don't think that's a feasible combination.
They do it at Fonda.
Do they?
Yeah, they have a big horse show. They always have horses there, and then in the stables in the back, and then they do, they run the races over on the racetrack.
Well,
so
there you go.
It's possible.
Where was the Fonda contingent to say that it's doable?
Yeah, I know. You should have been there. But
we got to get some folks together for next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah, we're next week. Who are we gonna end up talking to? When are we gonna see John Balmas again? He's moving in pretty soon, isn't he?
Yeah, he said he's moving this week or next week. So once they get all settled, he said he'll be back. I had a chance to see him at Big Diamond on Tuesday night. So he said he'll be back. He said he misses doing all the racing stuff. They've been going nonstop on the new house.
Well, good.
New carpet, new floors, painting, sanding, new cabinets, you name it.
Well, that's good.
They've been doing it. So
it's good. It's good to stay busy, John. Good to stay busy, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So
cool.
So what else? He'll be back at some point, and we'll see. You gotta wait for the weekend, see what happens.
It's gonna happen. Be a busy weekend, man. It's gonna be a busy weekend.
A warm one.
Great weather for the back.
Bring the sunscreen. And at least me, my bald head, but
with your enormous bald head.
Yeah. Make sure you got the sunscreen. It'll be a good one.
Talk to BlackRock, and they're interested in having us coming over.
Really?
Yeah. So I got to get with you on that. Might be taking a trip on some Friday night over to BlackRock, taking some racing over that way.
I've been there.
Yeah, I know. You're familiar with where it is. We get to bring all the live stuff with us.
I am familiar with where it is, and I've been there this year. I think it'd be
okay. So it's basically, if I understand what you're saying there, right? You're not interested.
No, I didn't say that. This week they got, what is it? Bring four canned food items and you get in free.
Right.
So that's a pretty good deal.
Not a bad deal.
Nope. Hopefully they got things figured out. Seemed like they ran the program a little smoother last week. I don't know how, I don't know anyone that was there, but I didn't see any complaints this week. So things must have went a little bit better. And I don't know how the concessions are. I don't know if they've gotten that situation figured out. But I know if they're not allowing, they're not allowing any outside food or drink this week. So hopefully they got their concession figured out, because it's going to be a night of people eating a lot of food.
At least in the night, a lot of people drinking water.
Yeah. Yep. With it being, they're supposed to be 90 tomorrow, 89.
Yeah, I heard it was in the upper 80s tomorrow. And then Saturday we're down in Pennsylvania. We're down in western Pennsylvania in the Brookville area for the Superstock show. It'll be airing live right here on Finger Lakes 1.tv. So I'm looking forward to being outside all day, and that it's going to be fun.
Awesome.
What are you doing? You said Evansville Saturday, Utica Sunday.
I'm going to I-88 probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
On there, and I haven't been there yet this year, and it's home away from home for me, so I'll get down there. Supposed to go a few weeks ago, and it was colded out, and then like I said, Evans Mills again on Saturday, help them out again. They got a guy up there that's willing to announce. Never done it before, but he does some DJing now and then. So I let him call a race last week. He jumped right up, took the opportunity, and didn't do too bad. So,
right.
We'll see, and see if I can teach him a little bit more about how things work and so on, and and go from there. I just hope that tower's not 200 degrees. Ooh.
It's gonna be. That's
it's
sure.
gonna be hot.
It's gonna be a
air
sauna.
conditioning. Yeah, it's just gonna be hot. So.
Awesome.
That's all right. I can use a good sauna, good sweat out. So.
Anything else we got to hit on this week?
No, I think we're pretty good.
Covered just about all of it. I think we touched on all the bases. Mike, I appreciate you coming on again. Nice Apple 12's wing behind you, by the way.
Yeah, I went back to Greg Hodnett, showing Greg a little love. He picked up the win. What was it, last weekend, or was it last weekend? No, it wasn't last weekend. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Last weekend he didn't. What did he get? Top 5 at Lincoln and top 5 on Saturday or on Friday at Williams Grove.
Right.
Brian Monteith swept the weekend, so hopefully he'll get a win this weekend.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this edition of the 31st Lap. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, just in case you're wondering, I'll show you that one more time. Comment at agriculture.ny.gov. You can share your Save the Moody Mile comments from all over the place. Jump on there. Let them know you care. That's going to do it for this edition of the 31st Lap, and we'll be right back here again on Finger Lakes 1.tv next week.